This is gadget number 1 for gadget video number 2. A bamboo steamer. Asian in origin. I think they're used throughout the Orient, China, Japan, Korea, all those countries. I like to use it to steam vegetables and fish. And also something I'm doing this evening, it sort of becomes a one-pot meal. I'll show you in a minute what I'm talking about, but what I'm cooking in it tonight is a piece of fish, that's pollock, laying on a bed of kale that I just went and harvested out of my hoop house. And down below is some more kale. Looks like a lot of kale, but it cooks up into almost nothing. In the saucepan I have a few of my remaining Irish cobbler potatoes, and I'll just put the steamer on top of the potatoes when they're about half cooked. The finished dish with a little bit of my homemade apple chutney that I just canned today. Gadget number 2 is a rice cooker. It always sits out on my kitchen counter here because I use it frequently. Every once in a while someone will ask what it is, and I say, well, it's a rice cooker, and I do occasionally even cook rice in the thing. I've only had it for a few months, but it's an amazing kitchen appliance, and I do use it whenever I cook rice, but I use it almost daily. One of my favorite things is to do breakfast cereal in it, hot cereal, either oatmeal or Red River cereal, and I think you probably have to be Canadian to know what Red River cereal is. I don't think that's available anywhere else, but anyway, mixed grains. This has a delay start. I can put the ingredients, the water, the cereal, and whatever else I'm going to add to it before I go to bed, and you set it. When I come downstairs in the morning and make my coffee, the cereal is cooking. So it's a great little rig. But today I'm going to be doing eggs. I've already put a couple of cups of water down in the bottom. And this is the basket that you use when you're steaming vegetables in it. And I've got it with some of my fresh eggs. The hens have just started to lay, so the eggs aren't very big. And I want to make pickled eggs. And I receive an email magazine type thing, an e-zine, twice a month. And what it basically is a collection of letters written by and photographs submitted by people who have backyard chicken flocks all over the world. One problem when you have really fresh eggs, if you've ever had really fresh eggs from a store or have your own hens, is peeling them once they're hard boiled. The white tends to stick to the shell because there's very little airspace in there. Well, a lady submitted the way that she does it, and she says that it works, so I'm about to try it. You put a hole, small hole. I'm using a cake tester. This metal rig here that you test cakes with. Put a small hole in the large end of the egg and then steam the eggs rather than boil them for 10 minutes. Well, I've got a couple of cups of water in the bottom of this, and the eggs are going in the steamer basket. Once they have cooked for 10 minutes and then cooled down, supposedly they peel very easily, so I'll be able to make my pickled eggs. Anyway, we'll show you how that works a bit later. Well, that's a dozen eggs in the tray with a small hole punched in the large end of each egg. And now I select steam cooking and get this up to 10 minutes, which they recommend. Cook for 10 minutes in steam. And that's the process begun, but see the screen there, it's going to cook for 10 minutes, but it won't start the 10-minute countdown until the water has reached 100 degrees and starts to boil, and then the 10-minute countdown will start. It'll cook for 10 minutes and shut off. It's a wonderful appliance. The timer has just gone off. The eggs have had their 10 minutes steaming. Now it's a matter of letting them cool down and see how easily they come out of the shell. While the eggs are cooling, I might just as well show you what I use to make sweet pickled eggs. 1 cup of white wine vinegar, 1 cup of water, 2 teaspoons of pickling spice, mixed pickling spice, and I add 1 hot chili, and this is some of my own hot chilies that I just finished dehydrating. I'll take the stem off of it and break it up in here. A 1/4 cup of sugar. And that combination gets boiled up about 5 minutes or so, just so everything infuses. And later on, these onion rings and the eggs will be layered in a liter jar, and the hot brine poured over it. And then you refrigerate that for at least a week, and you have sweet pickled eggs. And I forgot to mention that I add a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I use sea salt. Well, mostly this egg method has really been working out quite well. I just crack the eggshell quite a bit, beating it around in the edge of the sink while it's in my hand, and start at the large end. If you've ever peeled a really fresh egg, you'll know that what I'm doing here is a lot easier than it normally is. Normally the shell sticks to the egg white and you have it all torn to pieces before you finish. There's another egg, and it works very well. I had trouble with 1 or 2 of the eggs, and it was eggs that cracked in the steam. I don't know what made that any more difficult than the eggs that didn't crack, but the eggs that cracked were a little more difficult to peel. Well, there's the eggs peeled and ready to have the seasoned brine added to them. Some recipes call for straining out the seasonings. I don't do that. I like the added flavor. One thing that I did discover as I was carrying on with the peeling of the eggs, letting the eggs cool down by themselves without putting them in water, colder water to cool, makes them easier to peel. Some of the earlier eggs I plunged into cold water and they peeled more difficult, but the other ones, when they were cooled enough to handle so that I could peel them and they cooled down on their own, they peeled very easily. Anyway, there's gadget number 2 and sweet pickled eggs. Gadget number 3, the final gadget for this video, is just a simple cast iron Dutch oven. I will attach a link to a video that I previously posted on how to bake the best bread in the world using a Dutch oven. This one has been in the oven preheating at 450 degrees for 30 minutes, and I'm just about to put the bread in it. I won't go through the whole process of making the bread, but I'll show you what it looks like when it comes out. And this oven, unfortunately, has lost its lid, so it's a little dangerous getting the cover off of it. Lost its cover, I meant, not the lid cover, but the button thing that you would normally pick it up with. This particular bread has got olives and some of my dehydrated tomatoes. I place it in there using the parchment paper that it has been doing its raising on. Doesn't deflate quite as much that way. That's that. It's ready to go in the oven. Well, the bread's had 30 minutes in the closed up Dutch oven and 15 minutes with the lid removed, and it's now ready to come out. And It's a shame we don't have smell-o-vision. There's the wonderful fragrance of fresh bread, but also the hot Kalamata olives in this are adding a lovely fragrance to it. Like I say, there'll be a link down below if you want to know how to use your Dutch oven to make this wonderful bread. And thank you for watching.